guys, Ben Swann here. Okay, so by now, no doubt you've heard either through Facebook or on the web someplace or from a friend that yes, in fact, I am leaving Fox 19 here in Cincinnati. The question is, where am I headed? And a lot of you have been asking, tell me, where are you going? Are you going to a network? Are you headed off to the Blaze? A lot of people are asking me that. Are you going to go independent? A lot of questions about it. Look, be honest with you. Right now, I'm talking to a few different folks, but I really want your input on this because when I came to Cincinnati 2 years ago, I'll be honest with you, I had absolutely no idea what was going to take place. And we started this thing called Reality Check and thought this would be a great way of putting out some news content that other people weren't doing. I had no clue that Reality Check would explode the way that it has. The best thing about it, though, to be honest with you, is that it connected me to you. By far, the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me in my career. So, as I take this next step, I'll be honest with you, I want your input. I want to know how you feel about the message that's been put out and what the next step should be. It's going to weigh heavily into that decision. And the best way for me to get that input is not through somebody going on Facebook and giving me their ideas. It's actually for you to do me a huge favor and go over to my brand new website, benswann.com. It's super easy to find. And when you get there, take the survey. We have a few questions on there to get your input, find out a little bit about you, and about where you think this next step should lead. Look, I've said it before. I am a huge fan of the people who would say they were my fans. I appreciate the content you guys send me, the things that you've said in the past, the support you've given, the story ideas that you've given me, and the education you've helped me to get. I think we're a pretty good team so far. So go over to my website, benswann.com, take that survey. It'll take just a few minutes of your time, and we'll get back together very soon. I'll see you then.
All right, there you go. And people always ask me, why do I promote other liberty-oriented media? I do it because we don't have a future if we don't. And it's funny you mentioned Beck in there. I think I told you like 6 months ago off air, I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Beck doesn't offer you a job because I know he's building a whole network off basically ideas I put on air, which is fine. I think that's great. And just my only painful thing is hearing something, him reading word for word InfoWars articles, then telling his listeners don't trust InfoWars. I mean, I see it all the time. Every time I tune in, it's insane. But it's funny you mentioned Beck there. I don't want to go off into that whole discussion. But you were telling me off air you're probably going to go independent. And I think that's probably the best move, and then just have your stuff out there everywhere. But you know, you could go into Dallas. It's just that I don't think you're quite effeminate enough to join his sidekicks. I'm sorry.
I don't even know what to say to that.
It's a joke. It makes them mad. They hate me. They're listening right now. Hi, Glenn. Cover my stuff tomorrow on the air. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you know.
I mean, the Glenn Beck show is my show. I mean, the truth is it's my show. So, I mean, I like it, actually.
It's just interesting, though, because a lot of people have assumed that that's the place, and I'm not sure why. In fact, to be honest with you, I mean, I've never had a conversation with Glenn Beck. So
no. He would be intimidated by you. I actually told you that off air too 6 months ago. But if he was smart, he would. But let's go back here. I mean, come on. So you're probably going to move to San Antonio? I'm guessing. Where I guess you got family, and then you'll be down here in a few months doing your own thing.
Well, and the question will be, yeah, what it looks like ultimately. I mean, we're working. One of the things you're going to find on the survey, if you go over there and you take that survey, is we're considering, trying to launch something possibly. Through Kickstarter to do some crowdsourcing and to get together, a plan to put something together, put out some content that we think is going to be really important for people. That'll be informational, be educational, and then taking that content and, like I said, getting it into streaming services, getting it out there where people can see it. Because, one thing that we're really about is really trying to open up people's minds. I almost see us as the bridge between mainstream and alternative media and saying there's a lot of good information over here, guys, that you're missing because you're watching the wrong things. And
hey,
so
you know what? We're going to break for 1 minute. Come back and do 5 more minutes with me. I want to show you a few articles, Ben, that you'll never see in the mainstream that I'd like you to cover when you launch your own operation. There goes my voice going completely out, folks. All right, we'll be right back. Stay with us. Ben Swann is here. The answer is move in an exodus away from these people. Here's an article you never see. Italian Supreme Court president blames Bilderberg for terrorist attacks, strategy of tension. Their head of their CIA has gone public saying they're staging terror attacks as a pretext to destroy liberty worldwide, that they have the documents. You think you'd see that mainstream news. Also, who gave North Korea nukes in the first place? We have links to 10-year-old mainstream news articles, but you won't see this now. You see, but you will see somebody like Ben Swann cover it, so then Fox tells him, oh, no, just do local stuff. Ben, would you cover stuff like this once you launch your own operation, or is that the ravings of a fascist?
No, absolutely. Listen, I think I'm especially intrigued, by the way, by this this article you guys have up about who gave these nukes to North Korea in the first place. And listen, part of what we do, too, is because what we really try to do is stay away from editorializing, obviously. We have a little bit different brand in what we do. But one of the things that we're really about, and I love what you guys have done with this, is we try to go back and find sources and find facts from the past, because one thing that media does not do a very good job of is ever going back and saying, hey, what did we say about this 5 years ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago? It's the same concept with Al-Qaeda. You mentioned this before, Al-Qaeda in Syria. Well, go all the way back to Al-Qaeda being created with the Mujahideen in Afghanistan.
Exactly.
In the late 1970s, early 1980s. And yet media forgets that conveniently today. They never talk about those issues today, never discuss the fact that our government funded this and created it. And today we're repeating history all over again.
You're right. And at a certain point, it's got to stop, because we see cultures throughout history go crazy. And you know, I talk to a lot of mainstream media people. They don't like what's happening either. They don't like being on a short leash.
Yeah. Well, no, they don't. And there's a lot of really good reporters out there and smart reporters, and they understand that at the end of the day, they have to do what they're ultimately told to do. And I think that there's more and more people kind of pushing back against that and moving away from it. And again, it's things like access to the internet, and there's just a lot of platforms out there. So, you know, one of the most important things we do, groups like Campaign for Liberty have talked a lot about the absolute necessity of keeping the internet free of government control. And it's vitally important that that happens. And I think your listeners absolutely know that. But again, where I feel like we play a service here is to go out and find folks who don't know it yet.
No, exactly. Everybody's got to promote liberty and go out and wake other people up. Obama's got to rally people to try to take our guns. He needs that grassroots. Look at how the White House senior advisor to Obama came out and said, we hate Drudge Report. We can't even talk because of him picking up what we say. Well, you're the one saying it. That shows how pathetically weak the little man behind the curtain is. But getting back to this North Korea thing, before you leave in a few weeks, your station there, come to him and say, what, I can't cover North Korea threatening to nuke America? Doesn't that affect Cincinnatians locally? And then, you know, do a reality check on the fact that our government and others help give the fissile material to North Korea. How could they say no to you on that?
You know what? I'll absolutely do that. I'll absolutely do that story. We'll do it this next week. We do them Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And so absolutely, we'll do that story. Because again, you know, the station for us, as we're going out, you know, obviously they have their direction that they're going in. And they've never really suppressed anything we've done. I don't see them suppressing this. So I think we'll be okay with it. But I'll definitely do the story because, as you guys are pointing out, you've got great information here and sources. And these aren't wild conspiratorial sources. These are.
Well, wait a minute. Somebody else has something to say. Somebody else, play him. Yeah, they have something to say to us.
Alex Jones, you piece of garbage. I don't know what your deal is. I really don't know, and I don't care.
Hey, Ben Swann, you're awesome. We need to talk off air. Have a meeting soon. Thanks for coming on, bro. I wish you all the luck.